What is up, everybody? My name is Nick, joined once again by my co-host Matt and special guest Connor. Lockdown Bets, however you want to name him. I'm really excited to have him on. We got some different interesting angles we're going to go over. But first, we're going to actually share the link to this podcast because one person's here. It's probably me. So let's do that. Boom.
Filtering. The filter. Yeah, there's also the YouTube, right? We got to share the YouTube.
Yeah. I completely messed up this morning and did not share the link with when I said we go live at 8. Here's the link. It didn't post the link.
Well, we got people coming through.
Boom. Post there. Yep, just did it on chalkboard. Boom. So professional.
I don't see it on chalkboard. Oh, okay.
Boom. So many links everywhere.
It's all been spread like a virus.
Enough virus talk. All right.
Hold on, before we start, favorite Thanksgiving food?
Stuffing.
Wow.
I respect it.
Got it, buddy?
I respect it. I do. Is it like box stuffing? Do you guys make?
Yeah, like what kind of stuffing? You need homemade?
Yeah, I mean,
you need homemade?
No celery. Get that shit out of here.
The creative stuffings are annoying as hell. No, I'm with you there. No, I like all of the rolls, all the bread rolls that are usually available are always pretty sweet. You know what I mean? In some shape or form, but also just dark meat turkey. Like I'm not get that dry white meat out of here. Just dark meat turkey is just amazing.
No, you're right.
Like some color in your life.
You're 100% right. If you ask for white meat, you might be a serial killer.
Yes.
Look, the only way you're eating white meat is like the next day on a sandwich with a shitload of mayo, toasted.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. Anything.
Yeah.
You gotta put some
sort of Matt, don't avoid the question.
I'm gonna get some hate. Green bean casserole is king.
Okay.
Green bean casserole.
It is something that you can only eat once a year, probably.
No, I do. I like green bean casserole.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is literally the best dish. I will pass everything, make sure I get that first, because I know people. Whoa. And
you're damn right I do.
And his last name is Johnson? That's pretty weird.
I mean.
Oh, buddy. Come on,
Dylan.
It's the best. How do you not like some juice in your meat? What are you doing?
Yeah. If you like some dry ass meat, that's fine. I mean, I like it. Like I said, next day, toasted mayo sandwich. Bam.
Yeah, you're not making a sandwich at the table. They're serving it and you're just eating it with all the
sides. Next day.
White meat? Come on.
Next day. You got lunches to look forward to. I guess
also if you're doing the gravy, this could be I'm not a gravy guy. So maybe if they're doing the white meat with the gravy and stuff like that, I only like one kind of gravy that I make myself. So I could maybe see it. But dark meat, man, that's the way to go.
All right.
I agree. Solid picks. Mine was definitely the best, but we will
All right. We'll let's pause, but we'll keep going.
All right. Just it's best to just ignore it, honestly.
Yeah,
all right. Whenever Matt's like that, just ignore it.
I got no hair. It just goes
okay. We can all agree this guy's an idiot.
Hey,
I love you, man.
Yeah.
Turkey over. All right.
Any other day of the year, ham is fine. Any other day of the year, ham is fine. I love ham.
Yeah.
That's the one day of the year.
So gross. That's so gross.
I'm ready to. All right. Thanks, guys. All right. So let's keep going. All right. We got 3 disgusting NFL games to talk about. Honestly, we were talking about this a little bit before the show. I mean, what did we expect, though? What did we expect all year looking at primetime games? Did I expect good, competitive matchups? No. I expected giant blowouts and maybe a good game, but I don't know about this Vikings. We'll talk about it. So much to talk about overall. Let's start off with the first game, 12:30 game, excuse me. Bills at the Lions. Lions, their classic Thanksgiving Day game where they get blown out. And they picked the perfect opponent to do it once again. The spread is 9.5 currently on FanDuel, Buffalo Bills, and the over-under is 54.5. Guys, do we have any plays? Who feels good about this game?
Yeah,
I don't.
I know you hate it. You talked about it beforehand. So fun fact: the Lions have played 82 games on Thanksgiving. They're 37, 43, and 2. Not that that has any relevance to this week, but they have been playing better. They're on a little 3-game win streak, but they have probably the toughest task that they've had all season in the Bills. And a 10-point spread is really not what you want on Thanksgiving at all. We have 2 of them, but we're going to talk about this one first. The over jumped from, I believe, 51 opened up at, and now it's at 54.5. I think this is a kind of like a shootout game. I think it's early, short week. I don't know. I just think the Lions defense is already atrocious. I know they're playing a little better, but come on now. They're giving up tons of yards, tons of points, tons of touchdowns, not field goals. So I think the Bills steamroll, but I hate this 10-point spread. And I kind of lean to an over, but I don't know if it's going to be a blowout early with a backdoor cover and the Bills are just running the ball and there's not enough points scored. So I may lean towards a player prop, but overall on that's kind of my overall consensus of the game. Connor, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this game's definitely a little bit weird. I suppose I do like Josh Allen rush yards, although I'm a little bit nervous about his injury. But even with his injury, because I know he played through the injury in the Minnesota game, and he went way over. But Cleveland, his rush attempts went way down. I didn't really get a chance to look into as to maybe why that is. But the let's see, let me get back to that. The rush yards. So the quarterbacks versus Detroit have been cleaning up. So Daniel Jones got 50. Justin Fields, we know he's a man on fire right now. He had 147. Even Aaron Rodgers went for 40 against them. Tua went for 14. So yeah, I kind of like that. I would suggest maybe researching a little bit more into how he's doing. I know practice they said he wasn't wearing it's an elbow injury. That's the other thing. So it's not like he can't run it, but his rushing attempts dropped went 6 and 3 last 2 games. So if it's definitely something as we're getting close to lock, I'm going to be monitoring. So it's a lean for me right now because I want to just see how he's looking. Maybe a live betting opportunity if he's looking like he's willing to break one. I would probably take the over on that. But I also like defense, as some of you guys may know. A couple of leans that I have on that. I haven't checked free safeties versus each other, but I had a couple of free safeties. Deshaun Elliott has gone over 5 of the last 6 at 6.5. He's a free safety for Detroit. So that's some kind of a lean for me. Poyer is also back. Let me actually get his full name. I know him as Poyer, but he's kind of like the captain of the defense for Buffalo, Jordan Poyer. Or he's a big part of their defense. Free safety. He's gone 3 over the last 4. Clears it pretty easily. I believe the line is 4.5. Just came back and went over that line. So those are 2 leans that I like on the defensive side.
Awesome. Yeah. As far as what Matt was saying, implied team total currently for the Bills is 32.5. So they definitely expect the Bills to score. I mean, I know you said you like the over. Would you ever consider the team total at that point? At 32.5?
I don't know if I touched 32.5.
Yeah.
Maybe a first half team total if I can know what it is and stay get out early.
I
know
Detroit can run the ball.
Yeah, and they're going to try to. And I think the Bills. I think Josh Allen is 2-0 on Thanksgiving. They murdered the Saints last year, but they had, I think, Simeon was at QB for the Saints, and they were just a horrible team. I remember that game now, thinking about it. But then I think Josh Allen in his career is 3-0 on Thursday, and he wins by an average margin of victory of 19 points, which is a lot. I do think short weeks, kind of so maybe some broken plays, he runs a little more. Injury is kind of a little concern. I actually, in my lean and my favorite prop was Josh Allen over rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. I was going to sprinkle because the Lions actually give up the most rushing touchdowns to quarterbacks. I know Fields had 2 last week. I know Daniel Jones had 1 the other week as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kirk Cousins might even had a rushing touchdown versus the Lions, if I remember correctly. Don't mark that down as stone, but they're allowing the most rushing yards to quarterbacks. And it's not just like a Justin Fields outlier. A lot of games they give a lot of yards and a lot of rushing touchdowns to quarterbacks. But then again, they also give the 4th most passing yards to wide receivers. So it's like, I don't know what angle it is, but any Bills player is probably key. But I think with the running back trio that they kind of have now, since they got Hines, I'd rather just trust Josh Allen to run it in and then maybe go with the wide receiver. That's kind of the way I'm looking at this game.
And that's something I wanted to bring up. Stephon Diggs opened up at 88.5 yards receiving. It is currently at 94.5 already. Or I guess, it's been a couple of days. But what are your thoughts on, obviously you talked about how they give up a lot of yards to receivers. Thoughts on possibly playing over on Stephon Diggs? Any opinion there either way for you guys?
He had no yards last week and he got almost shut down. This could be a game where Josh Allen just goes, hey, let's get some yards back for you. As good quarterbacks like to do with their number 1 wide receivers is keep them happy. Nothing better to make your wide receiver happy than giving him tons of targets on a prime Thanksgiving game after kind of like a dud week.
Give him 100 yards.
And I think he'll have his chances. Like I think he'll definitely have his receptions are probably something ridiculous.
Yeah, his receptions. That's the thing. Like the books are expecting they're 7.5 plus money. So like they're trying to pull you into it, but like they're at least expecting him to get targeted. I also kind of like Gabe Davis. I mean, he's been pretty hot lately. 93 and 68 yards last 2. So he's definitely someone I would consider.
His line's currently 61.5. But let's backtrack a little bit. Anything else for this game though before we move on? Anything else you guys want to contribute?
No, I think it's just a wide receiver or Josh Allen for me.
It's just a disgusting game, to be honest. That's all you can say about it. But let's backtrack a little bit. Connor, we didn't get into you. Thank you, first of all, for coming on. We kind of just rushed into it. It's mainly Matt's fault for not sharing the link. Nonetheless, we'll move on. Connor, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and like what you bring to the table and what you like to do as far as your betting style?
Yeah, I mean, I know but obviously for the people at home that might not know, I love focusing on niche props. I really had a nice run. I think last NFL season at the end of the season where I really saw the tackles and assists line, especially the assisted tackles, which they don't offer anymore. Those lines were unbelievably soft. But I just kind of went on a very strong run. I found that it was really nice because, as much as I watch football, it was just another aspect of the game that I hadn't focused in on. And it's also a lot of fun, maybe betting on like the same team for offense and defense, because then no matter what happens with the possession, you're paying attention to something on the same team. And I just found a lot of value. I also found those lines tend to hold a little bit because niche props in general, by definition, not a lot of people are looking at them. So, I'm a busy guy. I have another job. So it's nice to find a line that's not going to get killed at 3 a.m. by one of these cappers, VIP guys or something like that, or free guys with 50,000 followers or something like that.
Douchebags.
So, yeah, the
douchebags.
That was NFL, and then also I'm a big NBA fan. So there's plenty of steals, blocks, stocks, turnovers that are fun to bet on a nightly basis. I've had a lot of success this year on defense. I forgot what my record's at, but it's something pretty obscene just on defense alone. I swear my full record would be a lot better if I stopped betting rushing attempts. So I'm not betting any rushing attempts today. Oh man.
Yeah, excited to have you on. Excited to have someone with a different perspective of betting and something that can, looks at it at a different angle every week. I can't say it's the most exciting, but all that matters is wins. wins.
It's all about profit, and I promise you, it can be exciting. There's nothing more exciting than like a garbage time tackle that you're just like, the game's over, but you're still interested, and you're just like, oh my god, Jordan Brooks got there, motherfucker, you love it.
You know what I hate about it? That's the only reason I'm like,
okay,
like on the fence. It's subjective as far as the grading. So like with tackling, it can get. It's in that thing that he wrapped him up, but the other guy came in, and
but you can account for that. So there is a record on certain stat keepers and how favorable. There are websites for that. It's deeper, deeper level of analytics. But I know there is at least one website. I think it's like ID Pro. I'll have to maybe tweet it out later. But I know there is a website that does account for like just literally the generosity of home stat keepers. Yeah, which is pretty fascinating. It's definitely, I will say too, it's a lot better than it is on NBA, because NBA, they will miss just a guy getting the steal and they'll credit to someone entirely different, or a block can be a steal, and it's just the most infuriating thing. It's why I don't go so heavy on NBA defense this year, because misgrading happens a lot more, especially in games every day. So you have to be very careful. Not to mention the refs. You have to account for the refs in NBA as well, even more so, because they'll foul out your favorite block god in 3 minutes. So
let's not talk about NBA. I'm so sour after last night picking the worst shooters possible.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's going to happen. Nonetheless, let's get right back into this.
Hold on.
What we call an NFL slate. Go ahead.
One quick thing. This Bills, they're going to run through. Right, they're gonna run through the lines, right? That's what the line's saying, right? Something's fishy about this Tyler Bass field goal line for
no. Oh my god.
Yes.
You like that?
No, Encourage is kicking.
Like
yes. No, I'm sorry. You brought on the wrong person. Niche props, baby.
Something is fishy about this Tyler Bass field goal prop.
Minus 110?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know that the Lions give up a ton of touchdowns. I get it. But this line's usually minus 150 because the Bills just get in the red zone so often. And if you just bank on the Lions defense to stop him a few times on this Turkey Day, I mean, he had 6 field goals last week. Like 6.
Nick is just done. Nick is just like, his fucking shit.
I'm just saying.
It's every week, Connor. Every week.
I'm not you're regretting me right now.
All right, what's the line?
Well, talk minus 110. Over 1.5 field goals.
Over 1.5. What's his points line? Do they have that right?
7.5 minus 125. So that's actually also not bad. Gone over that.
Yeah, because I mean, you expect them to score a bunch of touchdowns, but I don't know about 7.5.
I'm not making a joke. Something's fishy, and Tyler Bass is his name. I'm not even making a joke. Like it's just.
Oh, not even making a joke.
I'm just saying.
Look,
it's definitely parlay piece. So my risk some tolerance. Sometimes I rate things like it's either straight play, it's a parlay piece. It's teetering on parlay piece, but I almost like it as like a half unit straight play for me.
It's not bad. I mean, you can look at any angle you want, field goals or total points, but
yeah, it's definitely a lean. It's a nice, and it could be a fun parlay piece. Stick it in a 3-team, parlay.
Okay. So 6 for 6 last week, 3 for 3 the week before, 1 for 2, 2 for 2, 1 for 1, 1 for 2, 3 for 3.
He's definitely missed some.
Yeah, he's missed some, but he's also had 2 attempts in every game but 2.
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he only missed versus Miami and the Giants, and that was away.
This is away
in Detroit.
Yeah.
I would say, and like historically, yeah, he hasn't done as well away. So that's interesting. And I think what would matter is more like whether or not are they playing in a dome or not. So Detroit, Lions,
also
stadium.
9 of the 12 field goals that the Lions have allowed have been under 40 yards. So.
Yeah, I mean, Detroit's like haven't they racked up like three straight wins or something like that, like 4?
Yeah,
they have. Like what? I'm intrigued entirely because of it, like especially because I've seen people taking Detroit plus 10.5. Wow, I mean they've definitely let.
I'm saying something to think about,
That's definitely. I kind of like it. I do kind of like it. So I'm sorry, Nick. I'm the worst, but I'm
All
curbing
right,
his
you want to play
nonsense.
it? Let's play it.
I'll
Where's it
play
at?
I'll
DK?
play it.
I see
Here,
minus 110 everywhere.
Yeah, it's probably yeah.
They don't offer that on FanDuel though. I never look.
They offer total points on FanDuel.
Oh yeah, that's what. Okay, yeah, I'm not doing total points.
I'm just saying,
I think it's a half unit. I don't know if I'd go full unit.
Oh
You
no,
don't want to waste a
definitely
full
not.
unit on
Definitely
on a
not.
kicker.
You said 5 units.
Hells no. Hells no.
And also your responsible gaming reminder. Everyone, change your passwords. Turn on 2-factor authentication. That's not a joke. Please do that on every book. It does not matter if they told you to or not to. Every book is getting they're not getting hacked. Basically, all the passwords have been leaked since forever and being held somewhere in a dark web, and then those passwords occasionally get released. So change it now if you haven't done so already. Do it before your Thanksgiving nap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, change it again. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get into the next game. I'm tired of talking about this game. Divisional matchup for the 4:30 slot. We got Giants at Cowboys. Obviously, Cowboys on Thanksgiving, a classic there. The spread is Cowboys -10. The over/under is 45.5. Cowboys coming off a absolute destructive win versus the Vikings, and the Giants are starting to look like they should. Still 7-3 overall, so not a bad team. But they just lost to the team we were just talking about, 31-18 to the Lions at home. And it really hasn't. I mean, I can walk through some of these past games, right? So the last 3 games really that kind of stand out. They lost to the Seahawks 27-13. They only beat the Texans by 8, which we mollywop the Texans. You should put up a good performance there. They're awful, just an awful team. And then you get pretty much crushed by the Lions as well. A little bit later as far as the scoring, but still 2-score loss. So are the cracks starting to show? Are they starting to fall apart as a team? A lot of people said there were frauds throughout the year, mainly because it wasn't expected. But what are you guys' thoughts on this game? I do have a couple ideas, and it really just starts with Tony Pollard or this Cowboys team total. I'm between them, but we can talk it out. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's as a Giants fan, this is a nightmare scenario. Just because
trust in Saquon.
You're talking to a guy who wrote a Cowboys future a couple weeks ago, and all of you guys, every single one of you guys, mocked it, including someone who's on this podcast whose name is not Connor. And I'm just gonna say, they're legit.
Everything you do,
they're legit. They are legit. And it sucks as a Giants fan this Thanksgiving. I'm sure you're gonna have your one uncle from Queens who's decked out in all Cowboys gear if you live in New York or New Jersey for no reason, even though he's from Queens. Just letting you know, it's gonna be a horrible Thanksgiving. It may start more fights than everyone else having politics arguments at the actual table. But either way, you're gonna watch it. They're gonna have to rely on Saquon if they want any chance to win this game. And I think just as the Giants are gonna rely on Saquon, I think the Cowboys are gonna use Pollard like an absolute workhorse. I know Zeke is back. They might share a couple. That's the only part that ever scares me about using a Pollard or Zeke is that I feel like they just ride the hot hand there with whoever's just doing better, it seems like. But I think the Cowboys do roll through. But again, I think this 9.5, 10-point spread is just a little too much. I'm not sure.
Real quick, if I can jump back before Detroit is a domed stadium, and just on our lovely kicker prop, that is better for kickers. So that if you are taking that,
something's fishy, man.
I already put a half unit on it.
I'm with you. I played 2.5 units. So, but yes, if I can talk about defense for a second,
go for it.
I'm taking DeMarcus Lawrence over half a sack. It's basically over 1 sack. It's plus 139 on pretty much every book, although I don't think every book has it up right now. I don't know if DraftKings has it right now. I took it on Bet Rivers, actually, and it's on the trio of Bet Rivers, Sugar House, and Barstool. He's had a 3 straight games with a sack. He had a 3-sack game versus the Giants previously this year. And I think if I look at career games versus Daniel Jones, he's had a sack in the last 3 straight, going back to October 30th. He just does. And he's the guy close, defensive end, closest to the line. And when Daniel Jones is going to try to break one, as long as he gets there before he gets to the line of scrimmage, boom, sack, easy enough. A lot of people probably going to take Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is a great choice. It is juiced as hell. If you got it early, great. I think it opened up at minus 110. It's down to like minus 169. So try to live play that if you really like Micah. They're both dealing with some form of injury, like fair warning on DeMarcus Lawrence. He had some kind of illness that is, we have no idea what it was, plus an injury, but he's slated to go. And I'm betting on him. If he's going, he's going. So you just get much better value out of DeMarcus, a guy closer to the line. So really like that play today. And I did play it for 1 unit at plus 139. So nice little plus money play, especially in divisional matchup. Love it. The other one that I like, you have to go on Barstool for this one because you're getting a full tackle discount. So it's Julian Love over 6.5 tackles and assists. It's a little juiced at minus 129, but last 3 or 5 games, cornerbacks have been clearing this number versus Dallas. I do expect, like you guys, Dallas will probably control the time of possession. Now, historically, Giants have actually been the better time of possession team. But without, I think, 4 offensive linemen for the Giants, 4 starting offensive linemen out, that's the reason. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I would not necessarily take the Cowgirls. Because Saquon's my guy, but I also can't be a Giants fan because I'm sorry, buddy, but they just did not do him right for the first 3 years. Like you draft like one of the stud running backs of a generation, and you just don't draft any offensive linemen along with him, one maybe.
Yeah.
Absolutely atrocious work by the Giants. That's why I gave up on them 2 years into his career. I was just angry, straight up angry. And I actually have a career bet on his rushing, his total yards versus Darren Sproles. I was so confident. I was like, he's going to have more, because I'm Eagles friends over here.
Yeah,
more total yards, rushing, catching, whatever, than Darren Sproles. And, at least he's making a resurgence now, which I'm happy about. But yeah, without 4 offensive linemen, you're going to probably see some quick drives by the Giants. So Dallas should control the clock. And 6.5 for Julian Love. Let me get my stats up. 7 of the last 10. He had 14 tackles and assists game versus Dallas. That was with Cooper. But last year he also had a game. He went. He had a 10 and a 7. I believe the 10 combined tackles and assists was with Dak. It was with Dak. Then he had a 5. But so I like the more recent performance by Julian. Especially also Adoree Jackson is out, so I think they're going to rely on Julian Love to take as many of the cornerback duties as possible. So a little defense for your Thanksgiving Day. Those are the 2 plays that I like. I did play both of them, and I play to win a 1 unit. So for those who aren't practicing unit management, make sure you are 1.29 units to win 1. That's the way I like to play. If it's plus money, you could also play it to win 1 unit, but I tend to just enjoy the plus money and take it one unit.
Yeah, 100%. I'm again going back to what I was talking about before. Cowboys team total is really interesting to me. 27.5. They look absolute dominating, just dominated last week. Just absolutely just destroyed them. I was live betting their touchdown drives. Just enjoying drinks and just live betting that. They're giving me plus 195 every time, 200
to score a touchdown.
Yeah. And it's not even that great of odds. It's just it just kept happening. So I was like, okay, well, why not just bet? I did it once and then okay, let's just take half that profit, do it again. Okay, let's just take that profit and just do it again. I just kept doubling up at that point once I was on house money. But team total at 27.5, right under that football number 28. I think they could put points up on the board. One thing as well is I kind of look at Giants team total. It's a 17.5. I looked at the under, and it's really just based off the last couple games. I mean, when you put 13 versus the Seahawks, 24 versus the Texans, and only 18 versus the Lions, there's something going on there offensively. Like I said, Cowboys look really, really good. Micah Parsons, they're doing great blitzes. I love that. I mean, it's just
Micah Parsons is a stud. He was immediately, he came in, as a rookie and was a captain of the defense. He's been, beleaguered by injuries throughout his early career. I love him. Penn State guy. I'm also a Penn State guy, so I follow my Penn State players. Absolute stud. You couldn't have a better guy leading your defense. Wish he was on the Eagles. I'm not even. They're my local team. I can't call him a fan because Howie Roseman sucks. But I don't care how many free agency signs. You can't draft anyone versus worth a damn. But yeah. I don't know why I'm scared of it's just a divisional matchup that I think I'm scared of all the high totals. Yeah. But short week and just that O-line being atrocious. And they're thrown together at the last minute. I mean, it's just going to be tough. It's, it makes me think that maybe a lot of outlets to Saquon, maybe he starts getting some receiving because they're going to have to move the pocket a lot. And they're going to be playing from behind, I would expect. But yeah, that's a very high team total. I just personally I can't seem to ever cap the Cowboys or trust them. You know what I mean? I think Dak is pretty mid as a quarterback, honestly. I think Zeke, I just never know what the hell is going on with him. He's either, an all-star or he's, getting tackled at the 2 and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? And he's got 15 yards halfway through the second and you're just like, I don't like what the hell.
That brings up a great point. And that was my idea is basically at this point I've decided, first of all, I want to see who gets the ball first and then just see how that goes and probably live bet that and see if I can get a better number either way.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to put a half unit on the under for the Giants because I just want to have some sort of action pregame. And I think that's
that's good.
A divisional game. Like I said, you banged up offensive line. Like you said, the defense for the Cowboys looks really, really good. I don't think they look past the Giants being a divisional game.
Maybe like a first quarter under too. You know what I mean? Maybe like a first half under because go ahead.
The problem with that is I want to see who has the ball first because I don't want to have Cowboys have an extra possession than they need to. At least at that point, wait till the Cowboys maybe score a touchdown and then look at that as far as
I was thinking maybe Giants under. The first half under. That might be something interesting too, because I'd be curious. I feel like they're probably. I know historically they're kind of like a slow starting team. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of their.
They have been coming back a lot in the second half.
Yeah, if you look at it, 6 points in the first game of Detroit. Obviously, they lost that game. We can do a quick check here.
I see first half total touchdowns. Giants under 1 is -192.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean they scored a only 1 touchdown versus the Texans in the first half. What are their first half just team total points? Only 1 touchdown.
FanDuel, I'm gonna look on.
Here I can pull up the trusty old odds jam. Hold on.
So on the Cowboys are 11-5 to their first half team total. The Giants are 7-9 to their first half team total in general.
Really? 7-9?
Probably pretty low as well.
Yeah, it has to be low then. That's first half
and
team total. They're 7.5. It's literally at 7.5.
Ooh.
That's a bit low. If it were 10.5 or something a little higher.
Because one turnover may
could set up good field position. You could get a field goal very easily. Actually, and that kind of makes me think. Is there
an over?
Is there a Giants kicking prop? Ooh.
There is, but I wanted to bring something else up real quick.
Go ahead. Bring anything else up.
Nick, step into my office. So, Brett Maher on the Cowboys is their kicker. His over field goals, over 1.5, -170. All right, you can't take that. But
I thought we were going away from this. Go ahead.
If you like his kicking, if you like his extra points, which is where you're angled with the Cowboys touchdowns. You're not going to get your team total without touchdowns. Over 2.5 extra points is minus 135. A little juice.
Not bad.
But they've scored.
I mean, that's a better play.
He's had He's had 3 or more extra points in every week since Dax got back. The last one.
Yeah.
And
no, that's a great play because that's better than. I mean, let's see. Hold on.
Just straight. And honestly, Graham Gano, field goals plus money. He's last 5 games versus the Dallas. He's gone over 4 or 5, and he's gone over last 3 straight. That might be another like half unit sprinkle for me.
So you can get the Cowboys kicker at over 2.5 extra points, but the total line for Cowboys touchdowns is 3.5. So basically, I get to cut down a touchdown.
Well, hopefully they don't try some Thanksgiving.
Okay, why? Don't even say that out loud. Say that out loud.
You're taking the opposite side now.
You know what I'm doing? Okay, half unit Giants team total under 17.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Minus 110 currently on FanDuel. You might be able to line shop that. I would always recommend line shopping if you have different books. And then where did you find that line, Matt? I'll take that too.
DraftKings and MGM. It's for the people.
DraftKings and MGM.
Yeah, that's a good bet. You're talking about the extra points, right?
Yeah. I'm just saying, I bring up these kicker props and Nick acts like he's allergic to them, and then he's like, "Oh, that makes sense."
But that one makes sense. I'm talking about touchdowns. You always do field goal props, like
extra point. They're kicking it in the uprights either way.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, you know what? I'm not getting into this with you.
Don't hate the player, hate the game, Nick. Hate the game.
And I feel like as well, if you're going to take the team total at 27.5, I feel like the 3.5 at plus 130 is probably a better idea. But whatever. Not even going to get into that. That's just more brain. Let's get into this last game, the most competitive game, according to the books. Patriots at Vikings. Vikings coming off that embarrassing loss, but they're a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is set at 42.5. What do we think about this game? I think me and Matt are on the same page, but Connor, do you have anything for this before we get into our play?
Yeah, no, please go ahead. I really don't. They have no defensive props up, which depresses the hell out of me. So I'm kind of listless there. What I think you guys are going to talk about, I think I'm going to agree with, but I'm going to do some last minute research while you guys chat.
Yeah, that's no problem. Matt, you want to talk about it? It's the under.
Have another kicker prop. I'm just kidding.
No, it's the
you leave stream right there.
How can we make a slate even worse? Yeah, just kicker props everywhere. That's great. It is the under of 42.5. Obviously, we saw, what happened to the Vikings last week. Embarrassing. That defense has got to come together and play a lot better. But they're going against the perfect offense to have a good week against. Patriots are just god awful. Matt, I know you got some stats for me. Tell me about this Patriots defense, though, going up against the Vikings, who want some revenge after getting embarrassed last week.
Yeah, well, first of all, versus Patriots, we know that the Vikings got absolutely mollywopped last week. It is what it is. It wasn't the fact that they only scored 3 points. It was the fact that they gave up 40, in my opinion. I think they're going to give up. I think they're going to focus a little more defensively. They have a much easier offensive opponent. The Patriots, they like to run the ball a lot. They like to waste a lot of time. They like to play these low-scoring, grinded-out games. It's Belichick special, especially with no more Tom Brady. Even with Tom Brady, he still did the short pass game, check downs, control the clock, control the game, control the tempo. It's the way he does things. We also have primetime Kirk Cousins. So unless he's throwing 3 pick sixes, I'm just saying they're going to establish the run, and they're going to try to get Dalvin Cook involved, because the one thing about this Patriots team is, according to DVOA, they are actually the number 1 ranked defense in the league. That's because their passing defense is unreal. Their rush defense is ranked 12th overall on DVOA, which leads me to believe that the Vikings are going to try to, control the clock, establish the run early, play some honest football, And I think the Patriots just play low scoring in general. That barring any crazy turnovers, I think they're going to play it safe. Primetime game, short week. I think there's lots of field goals that they settle for. So the under 42.5.
Matt, you're missing the most important part. Primetime Kurt.
I said that already.
No, you didn't. You didn't emphasize it. Emphasize it. Primetime Kurt. He's trash. It's been enough sample size to know that, like, I don't know what's going on with the dude. I just don't know. I have no idea. It just happened back in the day with Washington. Still happens to this day with the Vikings. It's just something about him. I don't know.
I gotta play.
I don't know. Oh, we gotta play. Connor, why don't you tell us about your play? We'll go through questions. So start loading your questions if you have any, and then we'll wrap it up with all of our plays for today and head out. So just go ahead and load questions in. Connor, why don't you tell us what play you're looking at for this late game?
Again, solid value here too. So Ramondre Stevenson, I want to hear you guys' feedback, but Ramondre Stevenson reception yards. Let's see. Patriots or the Vikings give up the fourth most receptions to running backs. I do like his receptions. It's set at 3.5, but last 4 games he's had 6, 3, 7, and 8. Like I said, last game he had 6. So he's definitely getting a lot of the targets. It's just really juiced at -158. But I can get a line of I think the average line is probably around 30 yards, but I can get 28.5 at -115 on BetMGM. I think I'm going to be playing that to win a half unit. Just going half units if it's not defense today. But I really like that. I think Minnesota, I think, just like you guys were saying, literally as you guys were saying, New England offense loves the checkdowns, right? And yeah, I think it looks like they really give it up to, receiving yards to running backs. I'm just doing, Tony Pollard had his 109-yard game, obviously. Zeke doesn't like catching the ball. I'm trying to look at who else has done this. Gibson, not really much of a ball catcher.
He's getting a bunch of targets. 6,
it
7,
really
7,
comes down
8,
to that.
5. I mean, he's getting a boatload.
David, who's the running back for the Browns? Darnell Moon? No. I can't. Or no, Chicago. I can't remember for who it is. Khalil Herbert didn't do much, but
Yeah,
I think
it's Herbert now.
I think the nice thing about that as well is obviously you got Harris back, and he's going to take more of the load rushing the ball, and then you can,
Actually, Montgomery had 4 catches for 62 yards.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, that's who it was. David Montgomery. That I was like, I'm pretty sure he's the running back. 62 yards. Yeah, exactly. So a lot of the guys who can definitely catch the ball. He's done that twice against them. 126 yards versus them last year. So Miles Sanders not much of a pass catcher as a running back. Same thing with Mark Ingram, although he cleared his over, which is funny. But yeah, and Eno Benjamin cleared his over at 23. So I like that. I think the value is definitely there. I'm seeing a lot of must starts around on the fantasy, just like general advice, those articles that are like half a page long. Yes, just start him. He's getting the targets. Well, thank you for the advice. But at least I know more people are on it. So I think I'm going to be playing that for about 2.5 unit. We're getting solid value, and yeah, especially if they're playing from behind, if maybe the Vikings wake the fuck up. Justin Jefferson looks back. Isn't he back? I think that was part of the issue that they got walloped last because he wasn't playing last week. I'm sorry. I'm just saying when you have the best player on your team go down, that just changes the whole game.
When you can't even throw the ball without getting just crushed.
Here's the thing, like top end.
Once he lost their left tackle, it was over.
Yeah, and not to mention, just like in NFL, like that's why NFL can be a very hard game to cap for the casual observer, in my opinion, because all too often people don't realize that an entire game can be decided by one fucking player, and maybe it's a player that you don't even know about. Like the Eagles losing that game against your lovely Commanders. We both know Jordan Davis not being out there. I'm sorry. They because they have no space eaters other than him. He was the reason why they were able to survive all those, cheap ass wins that they've been having. But hey, they don't make the schedule, whatever. But regardless, that's why they picked up Sue, and they looked a little bit better last week. So That can very much happen. I think Justin Jefferson's incredibly important to the Vikings. So
yeah, you guys won the Super Bowl last week, right?
Hey, don't say you guys. Not my team. Not my team. They are my local team, is how I like to define them. So I have to fucking pay attention to it. They have not earned, until they win me a giant bet, they have not earned my fandom because Howard Roseman sucks.
There you go. Fair enough. I like it. Let's go through some of these questions that some people have left. Back to Mr. Whitemeat himself, Dylan Johnson. Y'all got anybody scoring a touchdown today?
I like Josh Allen for running in. I really do.
Josh Allen?
Lions give up the most rushing touchdowns to quarterbacks. I think even with his injury, it's elbow. Maybe he just tucks and runs and doesn't try to, put it out there. I don't know. But just, the fact that Kirk Cousins get a rushing touchdown versus them. Daniel Jones does get, sneaky amount of rushing touchdowns, but he got some as well. And then obviously Justin Fields. I think it's a good spot.
His touchdown is currently plus 105. A little disappointing there.
Plus 110 on some other books. But, I mean, he's going to have the ball in the red zone a ton.
No, I'm with you. I am with you. Anybody else have any for other games?
I do kind of like DeAndre Swift. Seems to be a touchdown machine, even though it's versus Buffalo. That's definitely a solid pick there. I'm curious how much rushing.
He scored back-to-back weeks since coming. He came back versus the Packers. Only had 2 attempts, really limited, 3 receptions. It's his limited quantity for me. That's a little scary.
But he scored in 5 of 7. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty solid.
Plus, it's at plus 175 at least on FanDuel. You can buy better lines, I guarantee it.
Yeah, I think you could probably find it plus 200 somewhere.
Yeah,
Detroit also gives up the most rushing touchdowns, so yeah, that definitely helps with Josh Allen's anytime. I don't know who you would take on. I guess you could take Singletary. So Singletary is probably also a good look for Buffalo because Detroit is like a sieve for rushing touchdowns.
Any other games or any other? Obviously, that's the highest total on the slate. Probably the most likely to have the highest total as well based off matchup.
And I like to do a lot of touchdowns in this game, obviously, but the Patriots don't allow a lot of yards to tight ends, but they allow a lot of touchdowns to tight ends. So maybe there's sort of a Hawkinson play in the red zone.
Did you see him last week though?
I mean,
drop two in the end zone.
Maybe he's
back-to-back plays.
He's due.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that value. I think it's like plus 200 something. You can probably find on books. It's got to be. That's kind of sneaky play there. But again, I don't think there's a lot of touchdowns in that game, so I'd probably stay away. But if you want to bet something, that's kind of where I would go.
Yeah.
I also like Zeke. It's pretty straightforward, but he came back. Just had like 2. But he also has 5 straight career games with a touchdown versus the Giants, and the Giants are mid basically versus opponent rushing touchdowns. So you're probably only going to get like an even money on that, but that could be also a nice parlay piece for everyone loves their touchdown parlay bets.
Let's rapid fire through these questions and get out of here, guys. If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Saquon going to have a tough time with this O-line.
Yeah.
I mean, like probably avoid. He could. The thing with Saquon is he is a home run hitter. To use that baseball analogy, he loves if he can break it. He can I wouldn't necessarily take his under simply because he can break one and go for 100. He's an explosive running back just by definition. So and maybe just pivot to his reception yards because I just have a feeling that they're smart. They'll move the pocket given that it's a new offensive line. But
Diggs or Gabriel Davis, I don't think you can go wrong with either.
Yeah, either one. You kind of have to pick and commit. Don't play both.
Anything else for today that you guys can think of? Let's roll through our plays one more time for anybody that didn't hear them. For the 12 o'clock game, we decided on a kicker. Go ahead.
Sure.
Tell us about it.
Something's fishy about that Tyler Bass line. I'm just going to keep saying it. Usually it's like a minus 145, minus 150. You're playing in a dome. the team total is like what 32.5. I think is what we came to find. I just think if the Lions are going to be in this game, they're going to have the Bills settle for field goals, and I love the over 1.5 line. He had 6
Put a
last
full
week.
unit on it.
I'm probably going to post this out later. I think it'd be fun to do kickers on Thanksgiving too, piss some people off, but also some cool angles to tell your cousins and nephews and whatever you got at your Thanksgiving table.
All right. Then the Cowboys Giants. I took Giants under 17 points team total. Matt put out Matt found a nice one in it's the Cowboys kicker. I always forget his name.
Over 2.5 extra points.
Over 2.5 extra points. And that can be found on DK or BetMGM.
Yep.
All right. And then Connor, you had DeMarcus Lawrence over 0.5 sacks. So 1 sack.
Yep, plus 139, plus 139, I believe is what it was. Yes, you can find that on the trio of like Barstool, Sugar House, and Bet Rivers. It'll probably open up, but right now they're not. It's not on DK or FanDuel. They're drawing you into the Micah Parsons, which I do like as a live play. But yeah, and then I also took Julian Love over 6.5 tackles and assists. That is only available on Barstool right now, just at that line at minus 129. I played to win 1 unit.
Fantastic. And then the last game, me and Matt both agree on Patriots Vikings under 42.5. Do you have any official plays? Are you going with the Stevenson as an official for half a unit?
I think I'm going to play that to win a half a unit. So I believe. And
that was receiving yards?
Yes, receiving 28.5 on BetMGM.
Fantastic. Guys, is there anything else you guys want to – Connor, first of all, thank you again for joining us. Long episode today, lots to talk about. No really got to dive into these ugly games. So,
Yep. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Matt, been a pleasure as always. Guys, have a good one. Best of luck. Bet responsibly. If you didn't catch our plays, just rewind the last 5 minutes and check all of them out. Otherwise, enjoy your day. And
peace.
Yeah, good luck, everyone.
See ya.
See ya.